Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Thursday live stream. We are on episode 20. God, it's been 20 episodes so far. That's a bit of a milestone. Hope everyone's been all right. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. If you could let me know if you can hear me, that would be great. I just want to, before I get started inside of ZBrush and we get started sort of doing the poly paint for this character that we have, just got a video to show whilst we wait for everyone else to join in the live stream. So I will see you in a second. It's the membership video, so just be about a minute long. So you want to join my membership?
Gotcha. Sign up.
By joining, you won't only unlock members-only content. You'll also be supporting my channel and the growth of the community. Are you ready to do your part?
I'm doing my part.
For as little as a price of coffee a month.
God damn, Jimmy. This some serious gourmet shit.
You'll be able to access all past live streams and get exclusive members-only content.
Yeah, boy.
That's less than 49p a video.
Shut up and take my money.
So if you're ready, join now and become part of this 3D journey.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
All right, that was the membership video. So yeah, if like I said, if you want to become a member, that'd be great. All the proceeds go towards making new tutorials and videos in the future for this channel and for you guys to watch. I have also got a Patreon channel as well, or Patreon website. If you want to become a patron, you can do the same thing there, because the Patreons level tier 3 are currently working on an exclusive tutorial. It's the ZBrush tutorial on how to sculpt a velociraptor from Jurassic Park. It's kind of like a weekly video that's uploaded on how to sculpt it. Very basic beginner stuff from beginning to end. It's a good little project to do as well. It's good look good in your portfolio if you want to have that in there too. Again, I have got a substance painter for beginners tutorial, which is one of the recent ones I've created. It's doing pretty well. There's quite a few people who've already bought it, but it'd be great if everyone out, if more people could buy it to learn how to use Substance Painter, I guess. I don't go into Substance Painter much with my work, but I think if I get more sort of engagement with it, then I'll probably look into doing a few more videos on how to use Substance Painter as a character artist for texturing creatures. Okay, so got that off, got the banner off, got everything off. Great. Let's go straight into, let me just share my screen. Here we are. And I'm going to put myself up there. There we are. So last week, oh, wait, before I get into this, there is something I wanted to show you guys. Someone has allowed me to use their work to show you what they've done. So I'm just going to quickly move this into view. I think you guys might have seen this on LinkedIn or in ArtStation. It's from Lisa Montenegro. I hope that's right. She used the crab creature that I created. She bought the model, the high poly model, and then she took it further into Substance, into Substance Painter and Marvelous Designer and Maya, and she made a great looking portfolio piece. I thought I'd just share this with you guys so you guys could see what it looks like. You could probably find her stuff online, but I think she did a really good job of it, to be honest. I was quite worried when I first saw it. I was like, is that my high poly model, or is that someone else's that looks kind of like mine? But actually it turns out it was my model, which is great, because this is exactly why I sell these models, is so that people can take the high poly and go further with it and then use it in their portfolio, as long as they credit the high poly artist, which was me. They can use it in their portfolio. Hopefully it can speed up the process of texturing. If you want to be a texture artist and you don't really want to do the high poly stuff, you can go ahead and grab the high poly models that I have online. I'll just bring it over here quick. I'll show you what I mean by that. So I'm not sure if many people have seen these, but I have got a bunch of high poly and low poly game ready versions of the characters in here as well, but I've only got a few of them because I'm still working on the others. But I have got pretty much all the high poly models that I've done for my time-lapse videos to a certain date, obviously, in here, so you guys can go ahead, grab it, and run with it, basically. Texture it, rig it, animate it, whatever you want to do with it for your portfolios, or if you want to use it in a company, there's a company version in there as well, pay wise. But yeah, I thought that was an amazing artwork that she's done with it. She's even added some extra pieces of clothing in here. It's really cool. So yeah, I really did like it. She sort of made it her own, you know. I think it was really good. I just wanted to shout out to her for, you know, taking the time to use my model. Okay, let's move that away. Bring this back in. Now, I think StreamYard has this new feature in here for the comments section. I'll just bring this out. It says it's show comments on stage. It's a beta version. I think they're trying to incorporate sort of like how Twitch does it. Like they have a sort of comment section on the side. So I'm just going to click on this button and see what happens. I haven't used this yet, and if it gets in the way, we might just turn it off. But I thought maybe for this, we could just have it on the side here. Whoops, exit that full screen. So yeah, I think that's going to work all right. It's just here. So if you have any questions, by the way, tonight is the night. So the live stream is just a chilled session. We're just going to continue working on this face hugger tonight, and you guys can ask me any questions you like, and we can take it from there, really. Yeah, just put some music on in the background as well. Just turn that down a little bit. There we're up. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, let's just get into this creature. So last week, last week I didn't actually do any of this because last week my computer screwed up, so I couldn't actually do any work on it. So yesterday and today, I have just gone in and I kind of just finished it off. Did we do it last week? I can't remember, to be honest. So last week or the week before, yesterday and today, I just went around and I just tidied up a few more things on this character or creature. Just, you know, adding a bit more detail in certain areas. Let's see here on this one. You can see how in between each digit on the fingers or the feet, the legs, they got these little like suction, like bendy parts, I guess you'd call it. Kind of like a knuckle. Well, I've just sort of incorporated that same design in there as well. I'm not too precious about it because it's kind of a concept piece, so I'm not too precious about the high fidelity detail in those areas. As long as there's some sort of visual understanding that is there. Oh, look, got our first question. Says, is that possible to apply the surface? Joseph Bonkowski says, is that possible to apply the surface noise to bring it with the model to Maya or Blender? Yes, it is. You'd have to decimate the model. If you're talking about the high poly models, you'd have to decimate the model using if you load the model inside a ZBrush, you can come up here to Z plugin and decimate the mask, the model at the high level with all the detail is. So you hit pre-process current, and that will just pre-process the model, and then you can decimate it by 10% or 20%. Hit decimate current if it's all in one piece, and then it will just decimate it to a lower polygon count, and then you can take that into Maya. I can't, you know, Maya and Blender don't have the capacity as ZBrush does to have such high poly models, so you have to decimate it in order to use it as a tool to retopo inside of Maya. I think I will do that video using this model, not tonight, but maybe in because next week we got the portfolio reviews. So next week is portfolio reviews. The week after is the Photoshop. If we don't get around to it tonight, we can Photoshop this 2 weeks time. Maybe on the third week, I will show you how to retopo this using Maya and the steps you need to take in order to take the model out of ZBrush into Maya and then start to retopo, just as a sort of side video, because I haven't loaded Maya up yet. And yeah, it would just take a little while to do that on my old machine. So yeah, got ourselves the face hugger, and like I said, I just added a bit more detail to him, and added a few more alphas to it, little dots on the sides of the legs here, just cleaned up the model in general. But as I mentioned before, this is going to be something that is a conceptual piece, a conceptual piece at this point. So the level of detail that we have on this thing is perfectly fine for that sort of stage. If I was to take us into a film ready, because I think this would be quite good for a game character, actually, the level of detail we have here over the last few weeks we've added would be perfectly fine for a game character. If it was a film character, I'd probably spend a lot more time like cleaning up the model and making it look a bit more a lot more cleaner, to be honest. But for a game character, I would say this is by far perfectly fine for what we would need it for, really. So bearing that in mind, we are going to move on to the poly paint rendering. We might be able to actually, I'm thinking about it, we might be able to get this into Photoshop tonight if we're lucky, but I'm not going to hold myself to that just yet, because there's quite a few steps still to take before we take it into Photoshop. So first things first, now that we have our high poly model like this, it's all ready to go. Just gonna zoom out on this. Oh, I haven't put my ticker tape on. 1 second. I made a brand new ticker tape, which is really long. It's got all the detail in it, so I don't have to go in here and start playing around with banners and whatnot. So got one here from Luxor Designer saying, hey my Buenos. Oh my, yes, sorry, it's a different language. is that Spanish or Mexican? A little Latin, I don't know. But hello, if you're new to the live stream. We're just working on the face hugger tonight, and so we have our model. Just gonna get the skin color out. I always seem to use the skin shader 4. It's just, for me, it's a very neutral. I'm gonna move this out of the way, actually. It's a very neutral sort of material, I should say, to use inside of ZBrush when it comes to poly painting. So yeah, the next thing I want to do is go to materials. Normally the skin shader from ZBrush has this reflection on, the sort of specular on it, and it kind of tricks your eye a little bit, unless you're going for something that's a little bit slimy or wet. Then this should be fine. Of course, the face hugger from Alien is quite slimy and a little bit wet anyway, but I normally would come into the material tab here, go to modifiers, and turn a specular down to about 0.06, and that just flattens the shade of the material a bit, so it doesn't look so colorful, or so specular, sorry. So you can see it's kind of more matte and muted, which is it's good, because that means that we can actually see proper details on our creature. Now, choosing a color for this is going to be a little bit tricky, because we don't know. We've got a few designs here from the Alien Romulus film, and you can see they kind of dabbled in a darker version, a lighter version, and then some sort of, I guess, yeah, this one's probably in between, and then there's a lighter version. I kind of like the darker version, to be honest, but I think original is probably going to be more suited to the face hugger. What do you guys think? Do you think I should go dark or light on this one? Yeah, let me know in the comments if you think I should go darker or lighter on this, and I'll choose the winner. Just stick that there for now. Is anybody else also waiting for anyone to, maybe choose a color? Did anyone else see the latest Jurassic Park trailer? by any chance? Rebirth, I think it's called Jurassic Park Rebirth. I think it was quite cool actually. I think they're going down a better road than they did with the, what was it, Jurassic Park Dominion. Oh, that was horrible. I was not a fan of that film. It was too. I think once you take the dinosaurs off the planet, it loses that allure, you know. I wonder if I could. I'm not sure if I can actually show the trailer online on here because Universal might hit me with a copyright. But you can just grab it on YouTube. You can go grab it on YouTube. I'll put the link in the chat here actually for those who want to see it. It's quite a cool concept. I'm a little bit wary about the, I'll just stick it in the chat here. If you follow that link, you'll be able to see the Jurassic Park trailer. It's a cool concept, but I'm a little bit wary about the big bad monster, because there's always a big bad monster in these Jurassic Park films. And I think when it was the T-Rex, or Rexy as they like to call it nowadays. I think when it was that creature and it was a bit more grounded in dinosaur history, it was more interesting, right? Because we've all grown up knowing that T-Rex was the biggest, baddest dinosaur on the planet, right? As they say in the Jurassic period, or whatever the period was he was in. Was it Triassic or Jurassic? I can't remember. Anyway, so we all know that he is the biggest, baddest guy or creature on the planet at one point. But now, ever since the CGI has got better and the stories had to evolve more, they just keep trying to add something that's bigger and better. And I can see the allure to it, but at some point you're going to run out of ideas. And I think they actually did run out of ideas at the very... Well, actually, it was probably in Jurassic Park 3, right? When they had the Spinosaurus, which was a badass creature, I must say. I loved that creature, but I think they could have stopped there. When they brought out the Indominus... Is it the Indominus Rex? And then it was the other one, Gigasaurus, I think it was. Yeah, Lexus designer. Yeah, I hope it looks better than. Yeah, that's why I say, you know, the last film was just horrible. We don't talk about Jurassic Park Dominion. Well, I don't even anyway. But yeah, when they start to show this latest film with that mutated dinosaur, which, okay, they are all mutated. They're all sort of spliced and genes and whatnot. I was a little bit worried about how it would come out, and I'm not sure about it still. I think it looks too alien. It doesn't look dinosaur anymore. It just looks like your generic sort of monster film instead of a dinosaur film, you know. Oh, I did say it right. It was Norman Rex. Okay. But yeah, I'm curious to know what you guys think about that, and what you were, if you're interested in that sort of thing anymore. I think I'm kind of starting to have sort of boredom is kind of setting in. I wish they would just go back to a basic story with these things, because they can get the dinosaurs right. You know, with the technology we have today, they can get the creatures looking correct. It's the story that just sort of doesn't work anymore, I think. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what you guys say, or what do you think about it. Okay, so we're going to go for the lighter one. I think it's just easier to do the lighter one anyway. So kind of want to copy the sort of flesh tone. So what I normally do is I pick the most used color on the creature, right, for the base, and then I'll go in and I'll start to add the colors on top. So I've got to pick this very light color for the creature, the facehugger. And we're going to just go to color up here and fill the object. Oh, there's a bug on my screen. Go away. Right. Fill that object. Why did that not work? Come on. Why are you? Oh, yeah. Okay, that's weird. Why is that doing that? Ah, got a bit of a bug here. Let's try that again. Color, fill object. Oh, is it because RGB is not turned on? Oh my god. Rookie mistake. Oh, is that still not working? Uh-oh. I think I've run into an issue, guys. Color, fill object. Hold on. Is that a mask? That is a mask. Why is there a mask there? Oh, you know what it is? We haven't turned the layers off from the sculpting. So yeah, before you go into it, make sure you're happy with the way your sculpt looks, I guess. And then if you're happy with all the layers that you've set up and the opacity for them, and you've got the way you want it and the way you like it, then you could just go and say bake all. Make sure that you save a copy of it in case you don't like it. You can just load it in with all your layers still there. But because I'm kind of happy with how this looks now, as far as it is, I'm just going to sort of bake down all the layers, and then you can come up to the color, and then you can say fill object, and it should fill the object. So yeah, if you ever get that issue where you can't see the color on your creature, just make sure your layers are turned off, or you bake down your layers basically. You got questions here. You got so Luxia Designs says the directors they put on for their new films are unfortunately yeah, pretty much. I'm not gonna lie. Joseph says the second Jurassic World was the worst episode. Really? You think second Jurassic World? Oh, I thought you meant Jurassic Park. I thought Jurassic Park was great. Yeah, Jurassic World 2. Was that the one when they took the dinosaurs off the island? Is that right? Yeah, if that was the one, I think you're correct. That was the oh, is that bloody... You see, they always have to have a new dinosaur to wow the audience, right? Instead of having the ones that they originally had. So they had that raptor, Indoraptor. Is it Indoraptor? I think it's the Indoraptor. Cool design, don't get me wrong, but I think what they did was they wrote themselves into a corner there, see, because they created Blue, the raptor, the Velociraptor. They made him too likable and friendly, and that just goes against everything that Jurassic Park's Velociraptors were. And so they sort of they wrote themselves into a corner with Blue, and they had to try to make something new or make something else that would what do you call it, that the Blue or the raptor could fight and, you know, be the hero dinosaur. That's so stupid. But yeah, I think Velociraptors belong in the tall grass, and they belong as a pack hunting creature and the main bad guy, because I was more scared of the Velociraptors when I was a kid than I was the T-Rex, because the T-Rex you could see coming from a mile away, whereas the Velociraptors, they were bigged up to being this very intelligent killing creature. So I think they went down the wrong road with the Velociraptor in Jurassic World series, and I hope they don't do that again with the new one. Lakshya says, what is your favorite monster in the movies? Are we talking about Jurassic Park, or are we talking about movies in general? Because there are some monsters that aren't creatures. I mean, I really like Freddy Krueger, if you know what I mean. The Nightmare on Elm Street character. Yeah, I like Freddy Krueger a lot. It's the whole sadistic, kill you in your sleep and you know, the face, the burnt face with the claws. I mean, whoever came up with that was just a genius. You know? Got one here from Shaheen Walton saying, "What do you think of the new findings that T-Rex had lips?" Yeah, that was a weird one, wasn't it? Okay, I guess it makes sense, right? That the T-Rex had lips, because I mean, the T-Rex that you see in Jurassic Park is movie monster. It's not like it's the real thing. The real thing actually looks very, I'm not gonna say cute, but it just looks friendly. You know, the real sort of T-Rex in the real world looks very much docile looking. It doesn't look scary at all. I mean, it probably is scary when it comes up against you and bites your head off, but you know, it doesn't look like something that is particularly scary to the naked eye. Yeah, the T-Rex with lips looks cute. Yeah, and it also feathers, right? Like feathers. I think if they'd chosen to use feathers in the films, they would have probably really shot themselves in the foot there. But again, it kind of worked in the what do you call it? The Jurassic World Dominion. It kind of worked with that Velociraptor that they had, the feathers. There's another film actually coming out about dinosaurs as well. I don't know if you've seen it. It's not Jurassic Park, but it's another dinosaur film. I think maybe we can see the trailer online. Let me try and find it real quick. I put dinosaur trailer in the in YouTube, and it came up with that Disney's Dinosaurs. Have you guys seen that? That was a great film. Disney's Dinosaurs. Dinosaur 2025. I can't remember what it was called though. Oh, yeah, Primitive War. Have you guys heard of that? Primitive War. Let me just. I'm gonna show this on screen. I'm just waiting for the advert to finish. Skip that. Okay. Let me pull this over. Just gonna pause the music real quick and turn the banner off. Have you guys seen this one? Turn the ticker off, and I'm gonna. How do I make this? There we go. Turn me off as well, and get this bigger. Comments. God, so many things to tap. I'm also going to turn the. Hold on. Can't hear it, can you? 1 second. Unmute the site. Yeah. I mean, it looks great. Just going to turn the volume down a little bit. I think it looks great, you know. Oops. How good does that look? You know, I think that looked really good. Oh, you can't see me now. Yeah, that's. I think you know. I think Jurassic Park has kind of had the monopoly for too long, and I think people are starting to ask for more. What do you call it? I want to say diversity. Kind of, I don't like that word. They're asking for much more variation of dinosaur films because I think Jurassic Park has kind of taken the limelight for too long, and it's not a bad thing. I think Jurassic Park's a great film, but we're ready to see more. Did anyone else see the what was that 50? Was it 51 million years ago with Adam Driver? He was sort of on a spaceship that crash lands on Earth during the Jurassic period, and you have to kind of survive the next few hours on it. But that was a cool one. I quite like that one. But yeah, I think that one is going to force Jurassic Park to become the franchise that they were known for being again. That primal one. There we are. Okay, just gonna use some dark here and just paint the ends of the feet a little darker. I guess what I'm gonna go for is, if I just bring this out again, is something like this one, which is kind of like the original. I mean, this one's got extra pieces added to it, but it's kind of a mix between this top one and this bottom one here. I kind of like the way that the finger digits are a little darker on the ends, and the sacks on the side here are quite dark as well. Yeah, I think we're going to go for that sort of look. Yeah, Joseph's right. It's that title is 65 or something like that. Yeah, that's true. 65. Yeah, I don't know. They come up with weird names for films these days. Anyway, just gonna continue here. If you want to pick a color, by the way, on your character, and you don't want to come over here to this little swatch over here to pick a color, you can just use the C button on your keyboard inside of ZBrush, and it will just, wherever your cursor is, it'll just pick that color for you. You can see down here it's changed. So if I do this again, and I click on the outside with the background, you can see it's changed to gray now. So you can easily pick between colors instead of having to go over here and pick a color, and or come over here and drag and drop a picker onto whatever you're doing. It's just a quicker way, just by clicking on the model with the C button. Cool. Let's put some. I'm just going to pick a color that's not too dark from around there on that knuckle there. I'm just going to add that to each one of here. Again, this is just poly paint, right? We're just poly painting our creature at the moment. It's not going to be the final look, because what we'll do inside of Photoshop is adjust it with, you know, overlays and layers, and maybe even paint directly onto the image as well. We're just trying to add something on here so that we have something to work with, a baseline to work with when we take it into Photoshop later. Does it pick colors from a reference image as well? Good question. Haven't tried it, but we can see. Turn it on. Turn on. We can. I haven't used this thing in a light year. Turn on. Shift Z. Oh wait. Let's see if we can just. Yeah, if I just come over here to the side, you hit C anywhere here, it will just pick the colors from that texture. I'm trying to get the. There it is. So, yeah, if you have a texture open with the spotlight, you can still pick colors from it. So that's pretty cool. C, hide the, turn off the texture. Yep. So yeah, good call there. So who's seen the latest Love, Death and Robots? I've only been able to see a couple of them. I haven't seen all of them. I've seen the miniature one, which I think was hilarious. Was it the Close Encounters of the Mini Kind? I've seen the one that's a cartoon, but they're in a World War II airplane and they're getting attacked by a demon in World War II. Seen that one, that's pretty good. I like the style of those ones. The mini one, I just like the humor because it's just hilarious. The one with the spider, the one that's heavy CGI, that's the thing with Netflix. They always have a roster of pretty similar, especially when it comes to Love, Death and Robots. I've noticed the roster is always pretty similar, right? So they'll always have one or two really high definition 3D animations, really well done cinematic type stuff. Then they'll have a couple of cartoons, and eventually they'll also have check the screensaver off, and then they'll also have the really humorous ones like Close Encounter of the Mini Kind, and there was a couple other ones, but I've kind of seen the algorithm they work with when they make those shows. But I was really impressed really with there's one with a dinosaur, and I think my friend from London worked on it. The one where they have a race on a space station with these dinosaurs, and it's kind of like the true wealthy people are spectating like a gladiatorial race or whatever. I think that was pretty cool. I like the dinosaurs. The story, not much of a story, I don't think, which is not a bad thing, but it's just a really cool program to watch, really. I really do like those. The stories, though, are always quite good when it comes to Love, Death and Robots. And I think that's what's sort of missing. I think what's missing in film and TV these days is good stories. And I think what sets it apart, just going to put some lines in here. What sets it apart, Love, Death and Robots, from like your normal films and stuff, is that it's not overly sort of written, I guess you could say. There's a bit more freedom in the show and the way it's sort of written, I guess you could say. And I kind of like that. I like the way they do that. It's kind of like the artists know story better than maybe some of these directors do, because they live and breathe creatures and characters, and always trying to bring some sort of creature they have to light and to life. So I guess sometimes they have maybe a better understanding of how to make a creature film. That's what I think anyway. I got Dope Boy saying, "What about new Iron Man?" Yeah, I'm kind of fatigued with Marvel at the moment. I don't think I've seen a Marvel film since I think it was Doctor Strange 2. I don't think I've seen a Marvel film since then. I think they should have stopped at Endgame. Oh wait, I saw Spider-Man No Way Home, but the third one. I hate the way they named those as well, because they've all got the word home in them, so you can't remember which one was the first, second, or third of Tom Holland's films. They all got similar sounding names. So I think it was Homecoming, I think. But yeah, that was a good one because it kind of brought back nostalgia in the right way. I think these latest films just aren't cutting it, really. I think like I said, I've got Marvel fatigue. I'd love to work on them, obviously, but I just don't think that films these days those films are particularly interesting for me anyway. I'm more of a creature guy anyway. I like horror films as well. So Luxia Designer says, who are your reference sculptors, for examples to follow. I think I said this last week. I'll try and find them again. 1 second. I gotta be careful what I put up on the screen because YouTube will sort of shut me down if I put anything too rude on here. Because art. I think I got a warning for one of my time-lapse videos, the Orc Berserker female, just because she was bare-chested, but there was hair in the way of her chest, right? So you couldn't see anything. But I got a copyright strike, but a warning on YouTube to change the thumbnail. So I had to put a big censored bar across her chest. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense because there was nothing there anyway. Anyway, let's have a look and see what I've got here. Which I can pick out a few that I really like. I got Gino. This is more of a recent guy that I've started to look at. So Gino Luca. I'm just moving this out of the way. He's got some really cool things. Look at that. I mean, he's got dragons, so he's already like attracted me basically to his work. I think he's got quite a good piece of work. I got quite good work in here as well. Yeah, very heavy 3D 3D elements in here. And whoops, we just pull that again. Go back and back. Move you out the way. Back again. There's also where is he? Is it this guy? Oh, Celestials. Yes, yeah. I love all the artists that worked on The Hobbit. So I can't remember their names, but I love all the art, like concept artists that worked on The Hobbit. This guy has some, or person has some really good, like, sort of drawn creatures, which I just find amazing to look at. As a visual representation, it really helps to have these kinds of artworks at hand all the time. So that's Nick Keller. God, I think I'm in the way. Awesome. Yeah, so that's Nick Keller. Let me find the guy. I think this is one of my biggest inspirations, this person, because of the style he has, Gerard S. Marantz. He's very well known in the industry, film industry, as a concept artist, and he just has some amazing artwork in here from the time that he's worked in the film industry. And I think what a lot of people might not understand is the concept artist is who works on these sort of creatures, right? Well, their work is not typically, but normally their work will be the piece that actually takes it to the next stage. So builders, like 2D builders or modelers, will take this person's model, right? This one, and they'll just clean it up, put textures on, send it to rigging, adjust it here and there if need be, for maneuverability and this sort of thing. But what you see in here is probably 90 to 94% of the final piece inside of the film. So yeah, I really like his way of working. Of course, he has Keyshot here, but I think he's got the proper license for Keyshot because he can do a nice turnaround to like turntable using Keyshot. Whereas if I had to do that, I'd have to fork out, I think it's about £1,000 a year or something stupid. I don't know. It's really expensive for one of those licenses. So I can't do that. But you probably see not similarities as in work, but similarities as in finish from his work and my work, because I use his work a lot for reference when I'm doing my own work. So yeah, I really like this guy's stuff, and he's just an amazing artist. He's an amazing drawing artist, hard surface artist, and organics artist, like sculpting. he has it all, basically. He has all the skills you need for an artist, as well as rendering and compositing and texturing. It's just good stuff, really. So that's my main person that I like the most, Gerard. And then I've just got loads of people here on this other screen down here. So that I like. It's not like I like just a handful of people. I like all types of art. So it could be like basic. It could be 2D, 3D. It doesn't matter. It's like my music choice as well. I don't care about who made what music. I just like music. I don't care I don't have to be one of those people who knows every little thing about the band or about the music industry or anything like that. I don't need to know that. I just need to know, does it sound good? If it does sound good, I'll like it. If it doesn't sound good, I probably won't like it. But yeah, we've got one here from Joseph saying, when you have a little free time to check the end of Captain America Brave New World, I just would be interested in your opinion about Red Hulk. The details on his skin is terrific, I think. Yeah, I think you can't go wrong with the Hulk. Red. Let me just see if I can find it. Find it real quick. Oh, 1 second. Oh. No, these are keyframe artwork. I love keyframes, by the way. I love keyframes because it's kind of like a character in a scene on a still, which is created by an artist to sort of capture that moment, you know. But I know what you mean. I think Red Hulk. I think they could have gotten someone better than Harrison Ford, to be honest, to play him. He looks great as Red Hulk. Again, I haven't seen the film, so I'm just going off by what I think about it. So don't take my word for it. But I think Harrison Ford has the temperament to be angry, especially in real life. If you saw him in any of those interviews on Hollywood stages and stuff, or press tours, he has the temperament to be angry. But I think not just him, by the way. There's quite a few actors out there. They just need to maybe step aside. I know it's probably a lot of people are gonna hate me for saying that, but I think a lot of these old artists, they need to kind of step aside and let new people in. You know, it's not fair on up and comers to have to compete so much with the sort of the older generation. But that's a thing. We're starting to see a lot more older generation of actors reprising roles or making something new. I think making something new is okay, but I don't know. Red Hulk, he has a temperament for it, but should have chosen someone a little younger, I think. Still old, but fit and younger, you know what I mean? Like a Hugh Jackman. You know, a Hugh Jackman still can do really well with Logan, with the character Logan, which is great. But they need that bit more youth in them to do the sort of that role, you know. Because if you watch the cartoon, I mean, even the guy before Harrison Ford, I can't remember his name. I think he passed away, or I think he might have passed away. The one that was in the original, not the original. Well, actually, yeah, maybe the original as well. I can't remember his name was now. But the one that was in The Incredible Hulk, that general would have been great if he was still alive. I don't know if he's alive still. He would have been great as Red Hulk, obviously, because he was also in Civil War and the other films in Marvel. But I guess he passed away. The one that was in The Hulk, or Hulk film, the very first Hulk film. That guy would have been great as a general as well. But yeah, I think going back to your question, I think I just went on a rant there. I think you can't go wrong with the Hulk. I think that was one of the first characters that they did right for the the Avengers, the first Avengers film. If you look at the first Avengers film, that Hulk is the Hulk, right? I think what they did was they rushed the other ones, because the Hulk from Endgame looks really bad, I think. And not really, it's a Hulk, but it's not the Hulk, you know. The visual effects on that one was, I think, rushed too much. If you look at the original Hulk, I'm gonna try and find an image of it. 1 second. Avengers Hulk. I'll find a big enough sort of image. 1 second. I guess this will have to do. I'll just pause over. All right, so you can see here, if I move out the way, you can see how good this looks, right? This looks amazing, right? As the Hulk, as CGI. And I would say that would be better than what we're getting today. And that was done in 2012. So why did we get the other Hulk from this guy? Why did we get this instead? This looks like a cartoon. This doesn't look like that, you know? I mean, even in Thor Ragnarok, he was starting to look a little bit fake, you know? Like, not uncanny valley type thing. I don't know. I think they got it right in Ultron as well. They got it right. I think the face looks amazing here. But I think they rushed it for the others. The skin looks good. It's just that face looks awful compared to, you know, that one. I think, yeah, let me just try and find it off screen quick. I don't want to put up something that's dodgy. I'm going to try and find it. Hulk Avengers. I think there might be one online on the sorry, trying to type and talk at the same time. There might be one on the ArtStation from the original film. Maybe. Oh, no, it's still loading. Because I can remember doing my own version of a Hulk, and I used some references, like there was plates, like character sheets, and you could really see the detail. Let me see if I can find it online again. Hulk Avengers character sheet CGI. Oh. Second. I mean, even that face is amazing. 1 second, guys. There's actually a making of it. Let me just the CGI VFX for the Hulk. I'm going to share this in the chat. If you watch this video, I'm not going to play it right now, but if you watch this video, you go there and watch it. It's kind of like the breakdown of the Hulk. It's part 2, but it's the breakdown of how they created the Hulk. And there's some amazing stuff on that. I'm trying to find the plate. Yeah, there's a reference here. That's a reference. Yeah, I mean, just look at this. Oh, not my face. Look at that. I mean, you can see the sweat I mean, it's not a great image, obviously, but you can see the sweat on his muscles. You can see the hair, little follicles of hair on his chest. Even on the edges of his sort of silhouette, there's some tiny little hairs just popping out, you know, catching that sort of light and the reflection of that, the sort of, and it just breaks the silhouette a little bit, even to the hair. I mean, I don't know how they went from this amazing one on the left to that one on the right in Ragnarok. It doesn't make sense why they would, you know, rush the Hulk, basically. And then, of course, you had the Hulk from Endgame, and which I think was an absolute betrayal of the character. They should have had, because, you know, the first Infinity film, the Hulk got beat up, you know, at the beginning. By the way, spoilers. He got beat up at the beginning, right? And I thought he would come back stronger and kick Thanos's ass later on in Endgame, but we never got to see that. I think that was one of the biggest letdowns of that saga ever, because I wanted to see, I thought that they would bring back Angry Hulk instead of have Scientist Hulk. They would bring back Angry Hulk and he'd just get bigger and bigger and more dangerous. But I guess it was not meant to be. Not allowed to have nice things. That would have been the showdown of the century, you know, the Angry Hulk against Thanos. Yeah, just wasn't meant to be, unfortunately. Right, gotta put a bit of pink in here for the fleshy skin color. Oh, turn off the back. Well, turn back on. Yeah. Oh, maybe not. Right. Just need to be careful it doesn't go through the other side like it's doing there. Back is on. And we're going to choose a color here. Let's blend that in again. Actually, it works pretty nicely with the back face masking on, because it kind of masks around some key areas. Let's blend that in a little bit. The color. By the way, you can actually do most of your texturing inside of ZBrush and not need to even take it into Substance. It's a little bit more of a more advanced technique to use, because you kind of need to know how specular maps work and all the other things. 1 second. You kind of need to know how specular map works and metallic works if you wanted to do it using ZBrush. But you can, you know, do most of the texturing inside of ZBrush and then take it into Maya or Photoshop and tweak it later. So that's a little bit of knowledge for you. It's just quicker to use ZBrush for this kind of thing. Got one here from Joseph saying, I don't know where I heard it, in a work film or just a rumor. I don't know. But as far as I remember, the Hulk's look depends how much Bruce has his consciousness. Meanwhile, and there are versions of Hulk, and the Professor Hulk version looks like more Bruce, but more weaker than the reckless brute force Hulk. Yeah, I've heard that as well. I think that's in the comic books. I haven't read the comic books. I do have a Hulk comic book. It's what was it? Hulk World War or something. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I've read through it. It's amazing comics, some amazing drawings in it as well. But yeah, I think you are right. I think you are right that the the scientist version of the Hulk, or Bruce, is more docile than the Raging Hulk. But I love Raging Hulk. I don't like docile Hulk. I think he should never have been docile Hulk. Not in the Infinity Saga anyway. He should have kept them Angry Hulk. Got one here from Luxus saying, how many years have you been using ZBrush? I have been using ZBrush for, well, since 2014. I don't know how long that is. Can't count backwards very well. I think it's about 10 years. 10 years? 10 years. 10, 11 years. Something like that. Yeah, I've been using it quite a while. I haven't actually been using it like I have in the last 4 years, like non-stop. When I was learning, I was kind of on and off ZBrush for a while because I was still trying to learn other programs for the industry and to get a job in the industry. And so, and I was also a little younger, so I was kind of going out and having fun and not really worrying about the career choice I had, I guess you could say, as much. But now I'm much more focused on sort of work as well. Those days of going out every night and drinking are, I think, behind me a little bit. I don't want to say completely, but it's just not the right time to be going out and drinking, I guess. And I think a lot of people have kind of given up on going out and drinking these days. Well, not given up, but they're more conscious about overly drinking, I guess. Yeah, trying to look after me health. But yeah, I've been using ZBrush for a very long time, and I'm hoping that they never we never lose it, because otherwise I don't know what would happen career-wise or job-wise. Yeah. Okay. I think it's looking not bad. It looks a little dark, but we can change that with a lighter hue of orange, well, slight tan color. Just to break it up a bit. So, yeah, what I normally do is I will sort of put down some base colors like I've done now, sort of get a feeling for where these colors will go on the creature, and block them out using rather broad painting style. I'm just going to paint these darker underneath here. See, I'm kind of using this as a reference. So there we are. So I'll go in and I'll do a broad stroke of colors, and then what I'll do after that is start to use some masking techniques inside of ZBrush to mask out certain areas, and then add more detail to the paint job. I'm just gonna quickly just add some hue down here. There we are. Okay. I've got a brush that I've been working on, an alpha brush that I've been working on. I want to maybe see if I can use it in here and see if it works. It's still a work in progress, but I'm just going to load it in. So load this into the side here. Where's my tools? Oh, there it is. Brushes. W. Where did I put that? Oh, 35 skin uppers. Yeah, there we are. 35 creature skin patterns is what the brush is. It's a VDM brush. I'm just loading it in now. I was kind of wary about this brush because I wasn't quite sure if it would work properly. Now, don't be too alarmed by what you're seeing up here, because it's not. These are just because it had to be created in a VDM style brush, so I could get them all into one brush, right? But the actual patterns are going to be looking like the little thing you see here on the left hand side, little alpha section there. So if I grab one of these or one of these, got one here from Joseph saying, have you checked Doom Dark Ages gameplay? I have checked it. I've checked only a few minutes of it. I again haven't had time to sort of look into it because of work related stuff and whatnot. But yeah, I have seen a bit of gameplay for it. I think it looks all good. It's just basically Doom, isn't it? You go running around with a weapon and killing loads of demons. It's working. It's not working too bad. Yeah, so like I say, this is a work in progress brush I'm working on, and I thought I'd just bring it out and see if it would work. On this creature. And as I mentioned before, there's plenty of patterns in here to choose from. Let's try this one again. And I think what I'm going to do is turn on back face masking. And I'm going to change the alpha, just modify the alpha on the side here to blur it a little bit, because I think it's a little bit too harsh on the lines. Oops. I'm just turn the blur up a little bit. Hopefully that'll just blur the edges of it. And I can come back in here and start using it. Just trying to get it in the right place. What happens if we turn off symmetry? That won't work. That'll be fine. We could just switch it up a bit as well. Oops. Why is that doing that? It's not perfect. It's a work in progress, but you can kind of see the idea. You would have a brush that can add some patterns. I just find this easier than having to mask out all the tiger patterns and then place them individually. Oh, paint over them, sorry. After masking. Masking takes forever to do. This is just a quicker way to add a bit of texture to the top. What happens if we make this free-handed? Oops. What happens if we spray this as well? Oh, wow. Get some funky stuff going on there. We've got any others along the side here? Ah, I've got some more here. Let's choose this one. This could work. What do you think, guys? Do you think it's all right? I mean, again, work in progress. Probably have to adjust it a bit more. I'll just take it down to there. Then I'll grab the normal paintbrush. Just blend that in. I think that's going to be all right. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Cool. All right. And it's a good test, I guess you could say. As if it had been painted by the same. Yeah, thanks. But yeah, that's a brush I'm trying to work on, trying to get something out of that. Might have to go back to the drawing board with a few of them, but yeah, it should be all right though. I think there's a few in there that work really would work really nicely, like these sort of spotty type giraffe, because there's quite a few in here that I've made, you know. Just depends on where you want to put them. You could use that one. That's pretty cool. It looks quite nice. In fact, there's another one there. Yeah, see, you could do something quite cool with it, like that. Actually, I might leave it. Just make it bigger so it covers all there. Maybe is there a smaller one? I think I'm pretty right. It's a good test. These kind of leopard-like patterns. Once I perfect this, I'll probably put it up on sale my art station. Yeah, it'll look good one day. I finished it. Right, let's carry on. So next thing I'll probably do is grab that paintbrush. Got a masking and mask by cavity. Just do a few adjustments here as a test. See how that looks. So what's doing now is it's just masking out all the cavities of the creature. So anything that's got a deep set in it. And what I'll do is I'll use this cavity to blur it. If I come to the top here, I'll just blur it. Blur the mask. And then what I can do is hide it. View. And then come in with a different color. Let's see if we go lighter quick. Yeah. So if we come in with a different color, turn the intensity down on the RGB, and very lightly paint in over this mask. So what we're doing is we're painting on the mask now. And you can see we're getting a little bit of that white coming out the top. It's kind of like if you ever painted miniatures. It's kind of like a dry brush when you paint dry brush. So you're brushing over the top with a dry brush. Dry brush is a method of painting where you put a bit of paint on your brush and then you take the excess off. Sorry, you take the excess off the paintbrush so that you have kind of like a dry enough residue on the brush, and then you can paint over your model with it, and it will just leave it on top of all the raised parts. That's what's called dry brushing. It's kind of the same technique we're doing here. We're just brushing over the top of our mask now, and you can kind of see it coming through on the legs. So all the things that are in cavity are protected, but anything on the top is painted. See? It was more, you could see it more here anyway. There we are. That's a technique like dry brushing, basically. Of course, you don't have to go crazy with it either. You can sort of pick and choose where you want to put this dry brushing. And then what you can do is invert the mask, and then I'm going to grow it and boost it, and then blur it and turn off view. And in this one, instead of using a whitish type color, I'm going to use more of a pinkish hue, which is more of like a sort of fake subsurfacing, I guess you could say. So inside of here, you're going to see that it's kind of got this reddish hue in there now, or orangey, more orangey hue. I guess try and find a better color. 1 second. Just undo all this. There we are. And now we can just paint in between the canvas, the cavity now, in those recesses. Just gonna put it on here as well. All right. I mean, it looks pretty funky. It doesn't look very much like a facehugger would, but I think it should be all right. It should be fine. Once we take it into Photoshop, we'll be able to update it anyway. Just gonna clear this mask. Just blend this color in a bit more. Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting somewhere with this. Wonder if we can add any other color in here. We could add some grayish. No, I guess we can just do it inside of Photoshop. I don't think we need to worry too much more. It looks kind of tarantula-ish, doesn't it? Like a tarantula. That's pretty cool. I might just add this fleshy color between the knuckles here a bit more on the underside. So just a bit of pink in there. Sorry about the music. I think I've heard this song about 10 times now, or more. Change it up. Right. How's everyone doing, by the way? Is everyone still there? Everyone still alive? If you have any questions you'd like to ask, please don't feel free to ask. Doesn't have to be about ZBrush work. Could be anything. Any game or film or I don't know, whatever you like. Okay. All right, I'm happy with that. I think I'm gonna go with that. It's the pattern's a bit weird on the top, but I'm hoping with the compositing we'll be able to blend it in a bit better or clean up a little better. I just wanted to try out the new brush anyway, just to see how it looks. And it doesn't look too bad. It still needs a lot of work on them and testing before I put it up for sale. But yeah, it's all right. Right. So let's say that we are happy with the texture stage. We've got our textures on our creature. We're happy with it. And we want to now go in and pose it. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the sculpting of this creature, is that I'd like to keep it like they did with this concept here. You know, keep it simple, keep it clean. I'm not going to do a creature flying through the air like this one here. I think it sort of cuts off too much of the design of the creature. And what I want to do is be able to show off as much of the creature as possible in sort of a portfolio piece or anything like that. So what I think we'll do is we'll just keep it sort of similar to this. So we're just going to adjust the tail, maybe move the fingers a bit, make them look a bit more creepier, because right now it just looks like a what do you call it, a spider. So you can do that. I think it's all one piece, isn't it? I don't think there's any subtools. No, we're all one piece. Okay, so if you have a model that's all one piece, thank you, Joseph says we are here and enjoying the session. To quote Maximus, we are entertained. Oh, good. Yeah, so if you ever have a subtool, a model which has no subtools, then you're not going to really be able to use the transpose masters, because transpose masters is typically used to pose a character with multiple subtools. So instead, we're just going to do it, but without this transpose master technique. Still the same way, but just not this way. So the first thing I want to do is turn on layers. So I want to make a new layer. I'm just going to call this one pose. You don't have to name it, but just for the sake, I'm just going to call it pose. Where is it? Bagel. Oops. Lost it. Oh. Why is that not working? Ooh, we have problem. Uh-oh. Okay, we've got the texture. Oh, okay. The slider for some reason didn't want to bring it up. That's weird. Yeah, that's never happened before. I think it's because when we baked everything, the slider was down at the bottom here, so we couldn't see the layer at the top. But I think I fixed it now, so that's a bit weird. Anyway, make sure you have a new layer. You don't have to name it, obviously, but you can if you like. I'm just gonna bother with it. So that's if we were to do it using the Z plugin. And the transpose master, we would say we want layers and then hit T-pose mesh, and that will take it to the lowest topology of your mesh and add a layer. So what we've done first is we've added a layer, and then we can come in here and drop it down to the lowest subdivision level. And I'm just going to turn off, because it also turns, when you hit the transpose button, it also turns the textures off. So just to turn the textures off, and we're basically doing what we would normally do with transpose master now. So I don't know, there might be an easier way to pose this than I'm going to do, but I'm just going to do it the way I know. Just going to grab the lasso tool for the masking. I'm just going to make these fingers look a little creepier, because at the moment they look too generic. So I'm just masking out and rotating these digits. So this one can be a bit straighter. Yeah. Pretty straight. course, you could do some asymmetry posing now that we have our model. So, of course, the fingers wouldn't be completely the same the whole time. You could probably come in here and mask off one side and just rotate that knuckle in a different way, kind of like what they've done here. They kind of rotate it in a different way to the other side, so it brings in some asymmetry as well. And just turn symmetry back on for this. Just gonna pull these out to the side, and what I'm going to do as well is, just as they've done here, to make it look less straight, I'm just going to use the move brush and bend them slightly slightly, so they look less straight. Basically, you can do that with all the other ones as well. You can just isolate them with a mask and move them so that they're not so straight. Again, all of this is captured on a layer, so if you were to want to go back in and fix something, you can always just turn the layer off and it'll bounce it back to the pose it had before. So I'm just gonna do the same here, bend it the other way. That's pretty cool. That looks more creepy, right? That looks a lot more creepy than before. So yeah, we'll keep it like that. Now the tail is a bit of a kerfuffle, really, because we need to bend it. Oh, I hate tails. I normally do it a very long old way. I guess you could turn off symmetry. You could use gizmos in here. So you can bend arc. I don't know if that worked. A second. Oh, it's because the mesh has layers. I can't do it. Okay. I guess you can't do it with the layers turned on, so we're going to have to do it the long way anyway. We're going to leave a little bit of a gap between the body where we won't actually bend it, because you can see here it kind of comes out and then starts to bend. So we'll do the same thing. Just going to make the mask area a bit smoother as well. And I'm just going to start the bend there. Get a move brush, and then just move that out back to the side. Now you're going to get a little bit deforming in the model if you do it this way, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Oops. Yeah. Just make sure that when you do a tail on your creature, if your creature has a tail, to make the mask really smooth rotation. I mean, you could you don't have to do the cleanup straight away. You can kind of bend the tail first and then do the cleanup. So it's just a very long, arduous thing to do, is a bending of the tail. And the more the curve it is, the more you have to pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah. Oh, got this bloody hair. It's just falling on my head, my face. Gotta get a haircut. Oh god, that music. It's just killing me. Let's play that one. Right. So has anybody else seen any good horror films they want to maybe talk about or share with the group? Can't say that I've had time yet to watch many. I did find the film from last week, the Twilight Zone from the Twilight movie. I think it was 19 something. The one that I talked about, the rabbit and how it scared the big Jesus out of me when I was a kid. Thanks to you guys, I was managed to find it, and I'm gonna try and scare myself again. But yeah, have you guys seen any other horror films you guys probably like, or creature features? Put them in the chat. It's not quite have a long enough tail, I don't think. But you know, we live and learn. We could have probably made the tail twice as long. I thought our one looked long, but that one has a very long tail. Yeah, could have gone a little longer though with our one. Never mind. Live and learn. Come on. I think we're far enough now. We don't need to use the rotation tool. We could just use the move brush to clean up this arc, this bend. Could probably add a bend here. It's not too bad. I mean, obviously you want to clean it up as best you can. Take your time with it. Could do a bit of a cheat, but could scale it up a bit. And then just move it a little bit here and there just to clean it up a little bit. It's kind of going a bit wonky there, but I think that's all right. Shouldn't be too flat, I guess. One here from Joseph saying, there is a pretty old TV series, if I remember correctly, Under the Mountain from 1981. I've seen it when I was a kid, but those creatures scared the hell out of me. Oh, I've got to have a look at this. I'm going to have a look at this quick. So, Under the Mountain. TV series. Ugh. Okay. I guess if you're a kid, yeah, it's pretty scary. I think they, yeah. Let's drag this in here. I don't know if you can see that. Is that the thing that scared you? Or that? That's creepy. Yeah, they're pretty creepy. I'll tell you what is creepy was Dr. Monroe's Island. That is a creepy film. I think we've talked about it before, though. Celestial says, have you seen Hellraiser? I haven't seen Hellraiser, to be honest. I've seen a lot of images of Hellraiser, like the character, but I haven't ever really got around to watching it. Is it any good? I think it, yeah. I think I think it's got good praise, but I haven't ever seen it. I have to look it up. I'm not going to put it on YouTube because there's probably some blood and guts and gore if it's a horror creature. But yeah, Hellraiser is on my list to watch. When I get a time to. Don't seem to have time these days to do anything really, apart from work-related things. Yeah. Okay. I think that's cool. It's also at this point you can actually come in and do a little bit of rejiggering of the scale of things if you feel like it's a bit too wide in some places or not. But I think that's pretty good. I mean, it's not the tail, obviously. We keep saying it, but the tail is not long enough, obviously. But I think it looks good. It looks good for something we've just been working on in our spare time. You know, so I'm going to keep it like that. So what you can do then is turn it back up to subdivision level 5, and you can see it's got all the details still on our creature, and we've also got the texture. So that is going to be, I mean, this is going to be quite a cool looking poster design, you know, for an alien film, if you were going to use it for an alien film, because you could have that long portrait sort of style poster with this creature on it. I think that'd be quite cool. Anywho, let's say I'm happy with this. So let me just save this first. Yeah, always save a copy because you never know, you might lose it or screw up something and then you won't have a copy. So always have a copy. I normally just save the tool. I don't save the project because it's just, for me, that's just how I've always done it. But let's turn off the recording and let's bake all down, because we want this to be like this. Actually, we don't have to bake it down. We could just leave it off baking for now. I'm going to move this out the way because it's getting on my nerves. There's so little real estate when I'm working on live streams like this, because I don't know if you want to see my face, but I have to have a camera live feed up here. Then I've got the ticker tape on the bottom. Now we have a little sort of chat box here because StreamYard has added a new feature, and I think it works pretty well. I don't know about you guys, but I like the chat box because it sort of, it's not big enough, but at least other people can see what's going on if they haven't got the chat open. So I think I'm going to keep that feature just for Thursdays, not for Monday, but just for Thursday chill sessions. I'm going to keep the little chat box open so people can kind of read the latest chat on screen. Okay, I'm going to render this, and I think what we'll do is we'll stop there afterwards, after I've rendered it, because this is going to take us up to about a 2-hour mark on this live stream. So I want a portrait of this creature. At the moment we have a landscape workstation that we're looking at. If I just come out of here and I zoom out, I don't know how much you can see of it, but there's a very faint light, faint background color sort of cutout, right? And it's actually set up as a landscape rather than a portrait at the moment. So what I want to do is come in here with the width, and normally I'll do 1270 and 1920 height. So it's basically 1920 by 1080, but the height is 1920 and the width is 1270, which is normally 720, 1270. I can't remember what numbers are. Anyway, it just gives me a little bit of extra area on either side to work with. So I'm just going to resize this, say yes, Control N to clean the canvas. Oh, that was scary. And then bring the model back in and then zoom out. So you can see now we have a bigger area to play with our render, so we can get more of it in the shot. And I'm going to turn you around because that mouth is creeping me out. I haven't actually had perspective turned on. You can turn perspective on if you like. No, Celestial, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this tonight because it's going to be another hour, maybe hour and a half inside of Photoshop, and I just don't have the stamina to do that. So it'll probably be not next week, because next week is the portfolio reviews. So it will probably be the week after I'll finish it, and I'll do all the stuff in Photoshop, straight up Photoshop it, and get it poster or concept ready inside of Photoshop. But I'm going to do all the rendering tonight so you guys can see how it's done. Okay, so I think a flat design of this is going to be more beneficial, because we have a look at the concept again. They're kind of flat, so we don't need to have perspective turned on. You can if you like, and you can come over here to draw and turn on vertical perspective and turn it to 85, which is not too far off non-perspective, but I think I'm just going to keep perspective off, to be honest. Flat design is going to be much better, I think. Anyway, once you have that set up, we have our document set up, textures on. I have the rendering settings and the lighting settings on the left-hand side docked anyway, ready to go. Normally what I do is I'll just go in here and I'll start to play around with the lights. So I'll move this light around and try and get a good position for the light. Because it's a bit flat, this model, it's not like it's got a good like a interesting pose or anything. It's a little bit flat, so the light situation might be a bit difficult. So just hit the render button, see what happens. Trying to get some shadow on this thing, but I think it's because it's so flat, it's going to be difficult to do. Let's try that again from a different angle. Yeah, there you can see we've got a little bit of shadow on the right-hand side here now. So symmetry on the right-hand side here, as well as on the backs of these fingers. So we're getting there with this. Let's try top down, complete top down. Yeah, that looks good. Not much shadow. Let's try it further back. Nah, it's too much. Okay. What happens if we just go from underneath? No, that doesn't work. Straight on. Well, straight on, you won't see any shadow. It's going to be a pain. I think we had a good one that was at the top here. Just a little bit of shadow in there. I mean, we're going to render out the shadow separately anyway, so not too much of an issue. Just trying to get a good position. That's not bad. What do you think? You think that's all right? I think that's all right. What would be like on the other side? Not too much over the side. I think that one's all right, actually. Maybe this is the better side. What you could also do is change the distance. Oh, you can't have distance without perspective turned on. Oh, go figure. All right, let's turn perspective on and bump this up so that it's a lot flatter with the distance. Now that we have perspective turned on, we can turn the distance of the light on further down, so it just sort of brings the light closer or further away from the model. Just try that again. I think that one looks all right. I think we can get a lot of information from this one for shadow wise. I think I'm going to keep it there. Okay, so let's open up the render, and in the render properties we have shadows on, but we don't have occlusion on. So I'm going to turn occlusion on and just come down to BPR shadow and turn up the angle for our shadow. What this does is just at the moment the shadow is hard, so it's a hard shadow on your model, right? When you turn the angle up, it sort of sprays out the shadow a little bit. It sort of disperses the shadow a little bit more on the model. Of course, we could also turn the blur up. Well, actually, turn the blur up doesn't really matter. Never really have to turn the blur up. 2 should be fine. We'll turn the raise up, that's for sure. So we have more detail in the shadow. And in an ambient occlusion, I have a particular settings that I've found that works the best. So I'm just going to put them in. Blur to 0, resolution to around 4,000, 121 rays, and I think it's V depth to 1. And I think that's going to work fine. So I'm just going to, before I do anything, I'm going to store the camera here in cluster. I'm going to save the views just off screen. So I'm going to call this file views and 01. I'm just doing it off screen because there's, yeah, easier that way. So I've made sure that I have that saved, because then you can come back to it if the computer crashes at any point, because normally when you hit the render button it works, but sometimes it'll just crash. ZBrush will just crash. So we're just going to make sure that we have that turned on. Just checking. Okay, yeah, cool. All right, gonna hit the render button and just see what happens. It's going to take a little longer because it's got more rays and resolution to work through, but it should come out pretty well. That's not too bad. If you want to see a preview of it, you just come over to the BPR render pass and hover over the shadow. You can see how that's going to look, and you can hover over the ambient occlusion. That looks really nice, actually. It's going to give us a lot of information to use inside of Photoshop as well, which is great. This one here, I think we can play with the settings a bit more with the shadow. I think we need to turn the V depth to -1. Just try that again. I can't remember whether it's the V depth or the L depth that we have to change to get the shadows working a little bit better. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think it was the V depth. So you can see before, well, I don't know if you did, but before it had a little bit more gray on the model with the shadow, and that's because it's trying to add sort of shadow on the surface a bit more. But if we take down the V depth to -1, it's kind of telling ZBrush that the shadow should only be in the dark patches where the light's not hitting, and the areas around it should be more white. This is just going to help to make a stronger shadow pass, basically. Okay, so once you're happy with that, so you got your mask, your ambient occlusion, your shadow, your depth map, and a BPR render. I don't actually use this BPR render, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But what I'll do is I'll click on this button, or click on these buttons, and save out these images. So if I click on this button, I'm just off screen here, but under Facehugger, I'm just going to make a new folder called Photoshop. And in here, I'm just going to save that as BPR mask PSD as it is. Same with the ambient occlusion, the shadow, and the depth. And then when it comes to the actual image, I want to turn off the ambient occlusion and the shadow, and then render that again, because I don't want the shadow information or the ambient occlusion information on the rendered image here. So I just get a blank image. I've got a question here from Joseph saying, is there any way to generate these passes manually? I'm asking because of the iPad version of ZBrush there are no BPR passes. Is there not? Because I haven't tested the iPad version at all. Again, I haven't had time. Manually, Is there any way to generate these passes manually? I mean, this is kind of the manual way of creating rendered passes. I'm not sure about the iPad one though. I'm gonna have to. Oh, I don't know if I've got a strong enough iPad, but I have to look at some videos on YouTube about that. Sorry, man. I don't quite know that one. If anyone in the chat knows, then please help us out. Anyway, gonna save this one. Now this one usually comes out as a JPEG, so I'm just gonna change it to a Photoshop Photoshop PSD, and just save that as render and just off screen. And then the next thing I want to do is change the material to a flat color, because I just want the color information now, right? So I come in here, I go to flat color, and I'll just do a render, and then I'll save this one out off screen as flat. So it's come out, it's saved out as flat. And then I'll turn off the colors or the little paint bucket here. 1 second, just got some water. So turn off the colors, and I'll come in here now and just pick a few of these matte cap materials that I have. There's a free download of these matte cap materials if you don't have them on my ArtStation. So you can download them from ArtStation, Gumroad, or Flip Normals, or Cube, Anycube. I think it's Anycube. You can download them from there, load them into the ZBrush scene, and then you can have all these matte cap materials that I normally use for when I do renders. So you choose this one with the light situation. I'm just going to bring that distance back to 100 for this. And I'm just going to start to render out a few of these materials. So this is the first one. Don't normally sort of name them as I save them out. I just call them 01, 02, 03. But that's just because I know what I'm working with. And there's quite a few of these, and I don't really have too much time to name them properly. And we're just moving these images over to Photoshop anyway afterwards, so you'll be able to see what they are inside of Photoshop. So I'm just going to save this one as 02. Now I want a reflection map as well, because I want that sort of wet skin texture, but there's a couple of different reflection maps. I'm going to do both of them for this exercise. So there's this one, reflect map, and then there's reflect map 2. You also have other reflections up here. There's the silver one, but I think reflect map 2 will be fine. Just going to render that out and then save that image up. Oops, let me change this. Oh, got a question here. In the iPad version, you just get the composited picture, no separate shadows, AO, or depth. I think that's maybe because, is it the full version of ZBrush on the iPad? Because they do turn off, certain features if it's not a full-on feature. If it's a full-on feature, then I'm not sure why they don't have the extra composited pictures. They should do. But if it's not, then you probably have to buy it. Oh, it's the full. It is a full version. Okay. I wouldn't know then. I think I'd have to buy the full version first to figure it out. But that's kind of strange how they don't have the separate pieces. To be honest, I would have thought they'd have that, because that's a basic function inside of ZBrush. You know, that's been there for donkey's years. This render passes. But yeah, sorry, I can't do anything until I take a look at it for myself. Where was I? Yeah, and then I'll just use a normal map. Grab a normal map render. Save this out. This one's normally used for lighting direction, and I can explain that in the next tutorial or the next video inside of Photoshop. Once we get inside of Photoshop, I'll explain what the normal map does. It's easier to see what it does than it is to explain what it does. Okay, just gonna get a couple more of these, and then I'll be done. I don't like to use too many of these matte cap materials because you can kind of overcook the image if you use too many, and we don't really want to do that. Again, this is a reflection one. Just going to use this one as well. Sometimes I don't even use all of them. I will sort of render out a couple of them just because I like the look of them, but I probably wouldn't even use them. Just having a look in the preview there, what they look like. I mean, you can even like render out a green, say, and then change the color or the hue of it inside of Photoshop into whatever you like. So you don't even have to keep the color of this material. You can change the material color inside of Photoshop later. But it just gives you the render, you know. I think that'll be it for those passes. The next thing I'll do is start grabbing light information. So I normally turn it to a blend material, and then I'll turn that to a black, so that I only get the light source coming through, right? And what I'll do is I'll come over to the light, and I'll bump up the intensity to about 3, so that we can get some of the specular highlights or specular light information on our character. I haven't moved the light yet, and I think that's good, because if we remember, we want to be conscious about where the shadow is on this creature, and it's sort of on this side of the creature. So the light source will have to come from this side when we composite it. So I'm just going to render that. Come over to the renders, save that out in a light folder or a new folder. Just going to call that number 1. And now I'm going to move the light around and just see where if I can get some cool information, specular information on this creature that we have. What happens if I move that behind? That'll do. I'm going to render that out. Call that number 2. Of course, I also need a rim light, and that's normally just put into the back of the creature. I'm just going to turn this to 100. And that'll just give me some good rim light information around our creature. I'm just going to save that out. And bring the light back to the front. Kind of want to get some light coming along this tail, just like this. So you got some nice highlights on this tail here. And just gonna hit render. Maybe just do one more extreme light coming from this end, or this sort of side here, so we get this tail going on here. I'll just render that out. And save that. And that is the job done. Now, if you had a multi-model or multi-subtool creature with eyes or armor or skin, then you might want to make a mask for your creature, like an ID mask for color selecting the different areas of your character. But because we only have a creature that's one piece like this, we're just going to leave it like that. We won't need a mask because we have a mask. This one here will be our mask. But yeah, so if we had a multiple character pieces, we'd make a color ID mask. Just going to turn that to 1 or to white and bring this down to 100. I normally just do this just to get it back to the start. I quite like the way that texture works, actually. Anyway, that's it. We are ready now to take this into Photoshop in the next video and composite it into a cool looking maybe poster design, or just a cool looking character sheet, or if you just rotate it and do all the renders from the other side as well. So we have two versions. But I'm just going to do it from the top for this one. But yeah, I think that's it, guys. I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I am feeling exhausted. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section for the next, let's say, 5 minutes. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. When we return to this in 2 weeks' time, we'll do all the Photoshop good stuff, and yeah, it'll just be more. It's the fun part, right? We kind of go through the slog. If you're a concept artist or want to be concept artist like me, you go through the slog of sculpting everything, and then you get to the good stage, which is normally the texturing and the compositing, making it look really nice inside as a final image. This is the stage where I start to enjoy things more again, because you can kind of get bored of the modeling stage, but inside the compositing stage is where you have a lot of fun, because you get to just run wild with your ideas. Good night, Celestial. I hope it's Celestius. I hope that's right. I hope you had a good night. But yeah, gonna leave it there, guys. Just want to say again, thank you to everyone who has joined tonight. I'm kind of running out of words to say. Yeah, if you want to become a member, please become a member. I have gonna say thank you to all my members. So all my YouTube members, thank you very much for staying in tonight and watching this. We've got quite a few. I have to say, because it's a Thursday, isn't it? Okay, here we go. Okay, so thank you to Dylan, Ricardo, Ember Hands Studios, Shiria, Dev, VSWAT, and Talent T, and my 1 monther Abish, Pazwan Wesley, and 2 monthers Joseph Bonkowski, Jace Burgoyne, Dave Newhouse, Mateo Alpinative 35, Ganesh, Joel, Maria, Ivan, and Anastasio, Tirapong, a Japanese friend, Nicholas Anastasio again. Is that another Anastasio? Weird. Maybe I'll put two in the same time. Anyway, thank you very much, guys, for being members. You really do help this channel to grow. And I also want to say thank you to my Patreon members. You've got the Alan CE, Tier 1, Tier 2, Alberto, Best in Shot, Captain Puffer, Gradual Warden, Jason, Joseph Bonkowski, King Amp, Chrono, Lloyd, David, Lost in Limbo, Mackay 903, Rafael Diaz, Thabisio, I hope I said that right, Thabisio Balepo, Thassa, and Tom Euro. And for my tier 3s, I'd like to thank Aaron Topman, Anika, Ganesh, Owen Vandermine, Gabriel, Geese, I think that's Geese, Hofi 76, Jumps, Rod Yar, Tyler Kraus, and Wenwu Zeng. I hope that's right. Thank you very much, guys, for being patrons. Again, you also help me out and also help this channel out. And with your contributions, I put them towards creating more tutorials and more models and videos and stuff. So and updating my technology. So it's really good that you guys are helping out this channel. If you haven't become a member yet, or if you haven't subscribed yet, please like, share, and subscribe. I will be leaving this live stream up until tomorrow morning for anyone who's maybe not seen it yet or had the chance to see it because they're asleep. You'll have until tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to put this onto my archive playlist for my members. But I just want to say thank you again to everyone for coming or staying in tonight, and have a great weekend. I'm just going to turn this music off. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you on Monday, where we'll start to work on the dragon tutorial again. I think we're going to be working on the tail and cleaning up areas and stuff like that. But that's for next week. So have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you all Monday. Take care. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in more exclusive content and want to support my work further, then please check out my Patreon page at MLW_creative for more. Also, view past live streams you might have missed in Tier 3 tutorial support, where I will be archiving future streams moving forward. If you are interested in other full-length tutorials, brushes, and models, then check out my online stores for more useful content. I would also like to thank all my subscribers and patrons for supporting me for this long. Again, thanks for watching and stay safe.